Hi, welcome to 5 Minute Fertility, where you can learn fertility facts in less than 5 minutes. I'm Dr. Stephen Sawin from South Jersey Fertility Center, and today we're going to be talking about the normal menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle is critical to understand so that you know why we're doing certain tests for fertility at certain times of the month to figure out why you're having trouble getting pregnant. Let's get right to it. Let's start with the normal anatomy. Here we see the uterus, which is a pear-shaped muscular organ designed to carry a pregnancy. And the inside of the uterus contains a cavity, which has a lining called the endometrium, which builds and sheds every month, which is what the period is. Reaching out from the uterus are fallopian tubes, which transport sperm and eggs, and they reach out towards the ovaries, which contain the eggs and make certain hormones. The menstrual cycle starts with the shedding of the lining of the uterus, as we said before, and the first day of full flow we call cycle day 1. If you were to look at the uterus and ovaries and some hormones at this time, you would see that the lining of the uterus would be thinning. There would be certain small fluid sacs within the ovary called follicles, which contain the eggs, which are waiting their turn to grow. I like to think of these as runners in a race. Whereas in humans, only one runner will complete the race. At the time of a period, certain hormones are at a baseline level. These contain a very important hormone called follicle-stimulating hormone made by the pituitary gland, which is going to the follicles to get one of them to start to grow. As a follicle grows, it gets bigger and bigger, filling up with fluid with the little egg inside. And it secretes a hormone called estrogen, which rises from the ovary in the bloodstream and goes to the uterine lining to make it get thicker to create a nice landing pad for an embryo ultimately. Once that follicle gets to a certain size, it is ready to release its egg. The signal for the release of the egg is this hormone, luteinizing hormone, which surges, again, from the pituitary gland in the bloodstream, going to the ovary to tell the egg to release. With the release of the egg, it goes into the fallopian tube to meet up with the sperm to create an embryo, which will drift down towards the uterus to implant in the lining. You will see here that the egg releases from the ovary into the fallopian tube, and the sperm will meet the egg here for fertilization. As the fertilized egg drifts down, it's dividing, and eventually reaches the uterine cavity 1 week later to implant. So the lining has to be ready for that embryo, and that is under the influence of this hormone called progesterone. Progesterone is very low in the bloodstream until ovulation occurs, and then it rises slowly in peaks 1 week after ovulation, which is exactly when that embryo is getting ready to implant. Now, let's say that someone is not trying to get pregnant, or the sperm and eggs do not find each other, and there's no pregnancy. Well, then the progesterone level is going to drop, and that will be a signal to the lining of the uterus that there is no pregnancy and it is time to shed again. As the lining sheds, it initiates a whole new menstrual cycle. I hope this has been helpful and informative for you to understand the normal menstrual cycle. Please listen to other 5-minute fertility videos to understand other parts of the fertility workup in less than 5 minutes.